What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on first take, they're going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys' new head coach, Mike McCarthy. So let's see what they have to say about that.
But I have breaking news. There is a new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Mike McCarthy. I'll start with you, our former coach.
What?
Adam Schefter just reported that Mike McCarthy, former coach of your boy Aaron Rodgers, will now be with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. Coach, I was going to come to you, but it seems like Stephen A's chomping at the bit over there.
Mike McCarthy is not that bad for what the Cowboys need immediately.
Can I get some coffee? It's going to be a long day.
You want some water? I got a lot of beverages over here.
It's going to be a long day.
Let me
Give me something,
Let
Molly.
me be
Yeah? You want some water here?
First of all, let me preface my comments by saying I'm going to defer to the football guys. Please don't get me wrong. I don't want to speak out of turn. Mike McCarthy is a Super Bowl champion. Mike McCarthy is a guy that took the Packers to the playoffs on numerous occasions. We get all of that. And so as a resume, Max, Marcus, Coach, Molly, from a resume perspective, I have no issue with him. My problem is, how'd you leave? As Janet Jackson would say, what have you done for me lately? Or in my case, I'm saying, what did you do the last time I saw you?
They call that
You got
the nail on the head.
You're right.
What
So
he just said.
my point is, Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen, the greatest talent at the quarterback position I've ever seen. Aaron Rodgers
I don't know about that.
said, quote, not him, quote, because he didn't say it publicly, but it was like, it's archaic. We beyond this. We need to advance and adapt to a different time. That's Aaron Rodgers. And so for me, when you look at it and then you look at the Dallas Cowboys and the things that they were not doing, you're going to bring in a guy that was accused of being beyond his time, the time that passed him by.
Behind time.
Yeah.
That is the guy that you hire. Oh, by the way, with Urban Meyer out there, I'm not the Lincoln Riley dude that you are, but with Urban Meyer out there, and at least in a few other coaches, all we had for the record was Marvin Lewis. Marvin Lewis, okay? And Mike McCarthy, you're the Dallas Cowboys, and that's all you did? Oh, damn, I don't know, coach.
So I don't know why these guys are acting like Mike McCarthy is Jeff Fisher. I mean, so if you look at Mike McCarthy's resume, so his regular season stats are he's a 125, 77, and 2 ties. In his postseason, he's 10-8. So he's been a head coach since 2006. He started out with the Green Bay Packers. So he's a well-seasoned, Super Bowl winning head coach that knows how to take care of business. So for what the Dallas Cowboys need right now, that's what they need, a well-seasoned head coach that's been in the NFL and knows how to win. Has been through the Super Bowl. The Dallas Cowboys, they're stacked. They're ready to win now. They're not necessarily looking for a long-term coach that's going to be there for 8 to 10 years and, they're just going to build upon him. The Dallas Cowboys are ready to win now, and they need a well-seasoned head coach to come in and take care of business. Now, as far as the whole thing with, McCarthy and Brett Favre, that could be something between or something that happened behind closed doors that we don't necessarily know who was wrong, who was right, who was pushing each other's buttons, who was doing what. But as far as his resume, Mike McCarthy's resume looks good enough for me for what the Cowboys need at this point. Anything else with Aaron Rodgers, that could be, bad personality matches or whatever. But he's good for the Dallas Cowboys. So let's continue.
I think McCarthy sold himself to Dallas as like a guy who's now going to embrace analytics and look forward and all that stuff. But the fact is, it's an uninspiring hire. And if you listen to the names of the candidates, Urban Meyer among them, but especially Marvin Lewis, what you hear are retreads that give ownership a sense that there's someone steering the ship, that there is someone with some executive capacity and some brand that you know and you feel is going to be solid, when really what the Cowboys need is a dynamic guy who's going to be there for 20 years and who they think they can grow with. And that's not what this looks like.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that because that's not what it is. They need, like I said, they just wanted to get a well-seasoned veteran head coach that's been to the Super Bowls, the Super Bowl winner, to come in and take care of these boys. They know to get them on track. Like I said, they're not looking for a long-term 8 to 10 year type coach because that's what they don't have time for that right now. So they need a head coach that has a pretty good resume, in Mike McCarthy. So he may have had some trouble behind closed doors with Aaron Rodgers, but I think that has more to do with personalities and, those guys pushing each other's buttons or whatever. But like I said, if he goes over to Dallas, he should be okay. If there's no personality conflicts or whatever, they should be okay. Just take him for what he's worth. He has a good record. He's won a Super Bowl. Just take him for what he's worth and get the most you can out of these guys. Don't worry about the long term or, anything like that. So let's continue.
Devil's advocate here, and then of course I want to hear from you, Coach. He made the playoffs in 9 of his 13 seasons as a head coach. Correct. Only Bill Belichick has more playoff appearances than McCarthy.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. I mean, first off, the resume does look good. You mentioned 9 playoffs and 13 things.
Pretty good odds.
Well, yeah, it is pretty good, but if Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback, I don't think it's that good. So to me, it's like, God, dog, I would have killed to have had these guys. Now this guy's going to inherit that. I don't know. He got to deal with God or something because this.
It kind of seems like Mr. Rex Ryan's kind of hating a little bit. Just hating just a little bit. Because, I mean, like I said, he has a good Mike McCarthy has a good resume. So whatever happened between him and Aaron Rodgers, that could be a personality conflict. There could be some stuff behind closed doors that we don't know what's going on. Now, that might not be the same thing over at Dallas. If I was Dallas Cowboys and I'm looking at hiring Mike McCarthy, I would take a look. Look, he has a good resume. So whatever happened between him and Aaron Rodgers, that could be something with a personality conflict, something happened behind closed doors. We met McCarthy. We talked with him. We seem like everything's okay. His resume checks out okay. He's won a Super Bowl. So let's get him in here and take care of business and get the ball rolling. So I don't know why they're talking about why Rex Ryan is kind of hating on Mike McCarthy. So let's continue.
Like a great situation. Oh, yeah, I do. And here's what he's going to do. The future, the guy that you're talking about is Jason Witten. That's going to be the guy they're going to groom. This guy's going to be in here for about 2 or 3 years. They're going to give the job to Jason Witten. He'll move forward. But when I look at this right here, he's got to keep Kellen Moore and all that. Why? He's got the #1 offense in the league. They've done a great job there. He's going to bring in somebody else to run the defense, all right? And that'll be fine. It'll probably be Dom Capers or somebody else. Who cares? But when I look at that, this hire was, on paper, looks good, but I don't think it's not the future that you talked about. And it's not a sexy hire by any stretch to me because you didn't win. You were like the rest of us when you never had Aaron Rodgers. Guess what happened to you? Won, 4 games, 3 games?
Okay, Mr. Rex Ryan, but don't try to lump in some other head coach with what you had going on, okay? So McCarthy's been a head coach since 2006, and he started with the Green Bay Packers. So like I said, his resume looks pretty good. So, I mean, you guys are acting like he's Jeff Fisher. They're not looking for a sexy pick. They're not looking for a long-term guy. They need a guy that can come in there immediately, knows how to take care of business, and get those guys rolling. Because, like I said, this is a stacked team. They're not worried about, the long-term with this guy. It just doesn't make sense that they keep saying that. For what the Dallas Cowboys need, Mike McCarthy fits just fine. So, let's continue.
That's what it showed me. So how great a coach are they getting? I don't know, but they're getting a guy. The analytics thing I thought was garbage when he came out and said, I'm going to embrace all this kind of stuff. You're going to embrace it. You better have an offensive line and a running game, which you do. So, hey, you're going to go for it on 4th down.
Embracing it, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, but also, like I said, how good of a coach do you really need to come in and control that offense? I mean, the offense has, 4 Pro Bowlers. I think like 2 or 3. No, I think they have like 5 Pro Bowlers. And 3 of the Pro Bowlers are on the offensive line. One is Ezekiel Elliott. And you have 2 wide receivers that caught for over 1,000 yards in Amari Cooper and I think Gallup, I think. I forgot his name. But you don't have to be the best head coach in the world to be able to lead a team that has that much talent. You just need a guy that has just enough. He's won a Super Bowl. He has a good resume. Just enough to get in there and take care of business. And that's what Mike McCarthy is. Like I said, it doesn't take much to go ahead and try to coach talent like what the Dallas Cowboys have. So let's continue.
Yes, you played for this team. You're closest to the situation of anyone here.
What? I don't know what this means. I really got to take Rex's approach and say that this is like a stopgap hire. Mm-hmm. Potentially coaches were like, nah, we don't want to interview. Like, that's what I'm getting. I'm not getting that this.
No, they're going to take that.
But
yeah, and that doesn't really make sense. It's like the Dallas Cowboys have a stacked offense. So I don't understand why, You know, how hard could it be? How hard could it be? You don't exactly need a Bill Belichick to go in there and take care of run this offense effectively. Just because Jason Garrett didn't know what he was doing, you don't know how to use Ezekiel Elliott. You don't know how to use Amari Cooper. I mean, you calling trash plays. Like I said, it doesn't take much to have to put these guys in position to make plays. They're all ballers. There's a bunch of ballers on that team. You don't need Bill Belichick to run this offense. Mike McCarthy is just fine for what the Dallas Cowboys need immediately. So let's continue.
My point is,
loaded team.
But here's my deal, Max. Why Mike McCarthy then? Like, why him? What was identified from Mike McCarthy to tell you that this
strong leadership, maybe? Isn't that one thing that was lacking in Dallas?
I don't know if Jason Garrett leadership was in question. I don't think that was. I think Jason Garrett, from a fundamental football standpoint, was in question. Like Stephen, they said, it's just it's uneven. Like, it's like you walk past the guy in the store and be like, "What's up?" and then move on.
Let me say this, okay?
I haven't been
Max
lost
and Molly know this.
Yeah, so I don't know what Mr. Spears was talking about, walking next to some guy and then saying what's up and walking away. But back to Mike McCarthy, like I said, for what the Dallas Cowboys need, he's good to go. I don't know if it was a leadership. I thought it was a leadership issue with Jason Garrett, because Jason Garrett didn't know what he was doing. So it couldn't even get to the point of leadership because he's making bad calls, didn't really know what he's doing, didn't know how to use his weapons in Ezekiel Elliott and Amari Cooper. So, I mean, the whole thing was just bad with Jason Garrett. But like I said, get Mike McCarthy in there and take care of business. And you don't need a genius to put those guys in position because they're all ballers pretty much. So let's continue.
I mean, I'm very, very big, not just on resume, but on you living up to your signature. For example, when you first took over the New York Jets job, you came in as a defensive-minded wizard. That was what your reputation was. First year there, you were number one. I'm looking at a guy like Mike McCarthy, and I'm saying, you were an offensive coordinator before you became the head coach. Everything about you is associated with offense. And the reason why you got fired was because of your offense. Think about that for a second here. Even though we had lots to complain about with the Green Bay Packers defensively and overall, and Aaron Rodgers was carrying you on your back, he didn't get much credit for what they did offensively, because we saw on too many occasions Aaron Rodgers coming to the rescue of the Green Bay Packers, and on too many occasions we wondered about what they were lacking. And so we look at the Dallas Cowboys, and we see their personnel. And we're sitting there saying, what the hell is wrong with Jason Garrett? What the hell is wrong with Kellerman? You don't know to get Ezekiel Elliott the ball. You don't know to get Amari Cooper involved. You don't know to target this man in a certain situation. Blah, blah, blah. We're looking at all of that. And your answer is Mike McCarthy? That is where I am lost. I don't want to disrespect Mike McCarthy.